Hey everyone, today we're going to go through about 10 tips to make sure you have an elevated, elegant, amazing cruise. We're going to spend a little bit of extra money, but it's going to be so worth it to make your cruise one that you will never forget. Let's go talk about it. Hello friends, John here from Bite Cruises. How are you? Happy New Year. Last week we did a little video on 10 tips for budget cruising. Ways that you could stop spending money, save a little bit of money, double up some things so you can go on more cruises or just save yourself a lot of money because you are a little bit frugal and you don't want to waste a ton of money on things that are superfluous. It's the word of the day. So today we're going to do the exact opposite. We're going to tell you ways that you can bougie up your cruise and make it a little more fancy. Starting with before you even go on your cruise. And that first tip is when you are planning your cruise, plan the night before to go to an elegant, fancy hotel. Get something really cool in the port. If you're going to Miami, maybe the Intercontinental. If you're going somewhere else, maybe a Four Seasons, maybe a Ritz-Carlton, and just do it up nice. If it's maybe it's your anniversary, maybe it's your honeymoon. Maybe it's something just special like a birthday, or maybe you're getting divorced and you're excited about it. Who knows? Anyway, these are some tips to help you elevate your experience. That's our first one. Number two, get a limo to the port. Why not live it up in style? Who wants to go in an Uber? If you do go in an Uber, maybe black car it, right? Instead of that Uber X that you're, just getting picked up in a whatever. I don't want to criticize anybody's car. People are going to get mad. But just little things here to elevate your experience. Then my next tip is find yourself an amazing concierge or travel agent that can really plan everything for you. Take that load off of you. You don't want any stress or anxiety. Let them handle all the details. While they're at it, tell them to book you a suite. Let's do the good life. If you do a suite, you are going to experience what everyone calls a ship within a ship. We're seeing it now on the 9-month world cruise for Royal Caribbean on Serenade of the Seas. People are upset that the Pinnacle people are getting better treatment. That's what happens when you are in an elevated class. They are in the Pinnacle, which means they've spent at least 700 days at sea on Royal Caribbean. So they get treated to some little perks and some extras. Same thing if you're in a suite. What happens when you're in a suite is you're part of this little ship within a ship. You have your own restaurant that you could go to that the normies aren't allowed to come to. The general population can't come to. You get your own sun deck. You get your own pool. You get your own lounge sometimes. There's snacks out all the time. You have a butler that can escort you to shows and go right past the line. They will get you on the ship before anyone else. They'll walk you right past the line, take you to a private elevator, take you up to the lounge and get you a drink. They will get you off the ship at every port. They will get you off the ship at the end so that you don't have to wait in any lines. These are the perks of living the suite life. We're trying to have ourselves a bougie fancy cruise, and that is the number one way to do it. Next up, since we're talking about the fancy restaurants and everything, do a chef's table. Most of the contemporary cruise lines have some type of a chef's table. This is a fancy dinner that holds maybe 10, 12, 14 people at the most. You'll have a dedicated waiter, you'll have a dedicated executive chef, and a sommelier. They will take you through a beautiful, usually 5 to 8 course meal. Everything is going to look beautiful. It's going to be the best food you've ever had on a cruise ship. They'll explain each course to you. You'll get your picture taken. You'll get to go into the kitchen and do a little tour. Some of the cruise lines will give you a cookbook. If you go on Celebrity, you get Daniel Boulud's cookbook. It is amazing. It's a great experience. It is one way I highly recommend to elevate your cruise and make it feel a little bit special. Next up, since we're still on food, let's talk about just doing specialty dining. Specialty dining, in my opinion, is one way. If you don't go all out like a suite, or you don't want to do the chef's table, specialty dining is one way, in my opinion, to just elevate your cruise a little bit. Some people don't love specialty dining. I really enjoy it. I don't enjoy sitting in the dining room for 2.5 hours. I really like going to have a special meal. I like going to a steakhouse or going to an Italian restaurant or a seafood restaurant or a French restaurant. It just feels a little bit elevated to me. It feels a little nicer than going to the buffet. Not that I don't like any of those other things. I just feel like it's an elevated experience, and sometimes I want that for my cruise. So that's another way to elevate your experience. Next up, wine tastings. Have you ever been on a cruise? You'll see they're doing maybe a whiskey tasting or a margarita tasting. The wine tastings are awesome. They're usually about $20 additional to your cruise fare. And what you get is they have all different types, right? You could do a New World versus Old World. Well, they have European wines versus American wines. They will have some cheese with your wine pairing. They will do chocolate. They will do black glass tasting where you don't know if you're drinking white or red and you have to figure it out. They'll do champagne tastings. They have all these different tastings on your cruise. They're amazing. I love them. It's one of the things that I feel like makes my cruise special when I do these wine tastings, and they teach you a little bit about the difference, the subtleties in your wine, the minerality, the terroir. You can feel fancy. Just say terroir. It makes you feel important when you say it. So try the wine tastings. They're awesome. Next up, private excursions. Did you know you could do that? Did you know you could call the cruise line and say, I'd like to do a fancy excursion with just my family? And they will say to you, yes, please take out your credit card and we will plan that for you. You can also do this with another provider like Viator or any of the ones that you can find online that are super reputable. Do your research first, but they will offer you a private excursion for 4 or 6 people, whatever's in your group, and you can get to places where you might not be able to go in a group of 50. You don't have those, there's always that one person that slows you down on every excursion. You're supposed to spend 5 minutes at a stop and they spend 20. They don't get back on the shuttle, and then you're stuck there and you miss 2 spots. Private excursions will elevate your experience and make you feel like a fancy person. Next up, spa treatments or the thermal suite. If you've ever been on a Norwegian cruise and you've spent time in the thermal suite, it is delightful. You have saunas in there, you have a salt room, you have heated beds, there's a warm pool in there, there's hot tubs, there is flavored water, there's fruit out all day. That is the epitome of being pampered. Add in there getting a massage, putting a robe on, maybe a couple's massage, maybe get a little Botox and tighten things up a little bit. God knows I could use that, right? With my bags under my eyes. So those are another fun thing that you could do to elevate your cruise experience. Next up, let's talk about exclusive little offerings. Maybe you're going to Perfect Day at Coco Cay or Great Stirrup Key, that's the private island of Norwegian, or even Ocean Key, which is the MSC private reserve. You can rent out a cabana and have private access where they bring you food all day, you're covered up, you have lounges that you can lay on. You can use some of the seaware, so you get like little mats and stuff that you can do, or one of the super fancy ones at Perfect Day, one of the overwater cabanas that are way too expensive for anybody. They have a little slide into the ocean there. Those are so much fun. Doing something exclusive like that, even the Cocoa Beach Club or Norwegian has little villas that you can rent out for the day. Those things are awesome, and that's a great place to, maybe you're going to redo your vows, recommit your wedding vows, or celebrate your birthday that day or your anniversary. That's something really special that you could do to make your cruise a little more hyped up. Next up, the one thing that I really love to do is maybe once a cruise is get dressed up and go out all out for formal night. Get your pictures taken, maybe throw a tux on or a suit or a really nice dress, and just really enjoy the night. Go out dancing afterwards, and you will feel very, very special. People will compliment you all night and tell you look wonderful. Those things are all great. I love getting dressed up on a cruise. You don't have to do it all the time, but if you're trying to be a little extra fancy, that's a good way to do it. And then last, but certainly not least, is do some in-cabin dining. Maybe you do, before you go, call up and have them decorate your cabin. And maybe get some champagne and chocolate-covered strawberries delivered to your room, or a cheese tray. Something so that when you get on the ship and you get to your room, you can just sit down and relax for a little bit and enjoy the perks of being pampered. Those are our ideas to really fancy up your cruise and make it a little more of an elevated experience. Let us know your comments below what you think would be cool. Thank you so much for watching. I always forget to ask you to subscribe in the middle, so please subscribe to our channel. Come along and join us on this fun journey. We're a small travel agency just trying to give you the best information possible so you can plan and go on an amazing cruise vacation. We put out a brand new video on cruising every day. So come join us and we will see everybody soon. Thanks. Bye.